Silent transition from U.S. to iPhone. China tariffs excluded. A U.S. Customs notice quietly released on Saturday morning listed a number of products that will be excluded from the 125% tariff on goods from China. While the code 8517.130000 may not make sense to most people, it represents smartphones in the U.S. Customs system. The inclusion of this code in the exemption list means that smartphones, which were China's highest value export to the U.S. last year, will not be affected by the tariff. Many electronic products such as chips, solar panels, and memory cards are also exempted. This decision was considered a serious step backwards after U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick said a few days ago that the purpose of the tariffs imposed on China was to bring iPhone production back to the U.S. Especially considering that most of Apple's production takes place in China, this decision is quite remarkable. In order to use lower costs and more manpower, Apple manufactures in China and India. If this exemption had not been granted, the price of iPhones produced at the Apple factory in Zhengzhou, in eastern China, would have risen sharply in the U.S. in a very short time. iPhone prices could have gone from $1,000 to close to $2,000. Apple might choose to spread this cost across global prices, but it is unclear how much people around the world would be willing to pay the Trump tax. While this dramatic price hike seems to have been averted for now, the U.S. administration continues to pressure China over fentanyl, which has been linked to the opioid crisis. Apple CEO Tim Cook's role is crucial here. Cook is one of the few figures who has direct access to both U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. He is seen as one of the figures who can diffuse tensions between the two giant economies. Meanwhile, trade policies are also in flux in the White House. According to reports in the U.S. media, Peter Navarro, one of the leading figures in trade, is being pushed to the background and replaced by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Navarro was on the agenda last week with his proposal for proportional taxation based on trade surplus. How will other countries react to this new approach? The Trump administration is alarmed by the volatility in U.S. bond markets. That's why they are looking for agreements with all their trading partners, not just countries with trade surpluses. According to Capital Economics, around 25% of China's total exports are now exempt from the 125% tariff. However, 64% of Taiwan's exports to the U.S., 44% of Malaysia's, and around 30% of Vietnam and Thailand's will not be affected. This completely contradicts Navarro's equation. Just last week it was said that those who looted the most would face the harshest penalties. And now the same countries have received the biggest exemptions. Countries like the UK, which have a trade deficit against the US, are facing a 25% car tax. Similar taxes are on the way for pharmaceuticals, their second largest export item. As a result, the White House has gone from saying that no products will be negotiated to exempting most of these products from taxation. This is not just a U-turn. Some have called it the art of the retreat. The U.S. is currently waging a trade war not with other countries, but within itself and with the financial markets. The world is watching how this game will end.